Yesterday you did an around the room thing. Give me your around the room, please. Did you finish your math of around the room? Most of us did not have time because of the fire drill. So that's one thing we need to work on today. Have you done your around the room thing? Then there was, of course, the assignment from last Friday. Looks like this, those little bubbles. Have you turned in your bubble thing? I need it. If not, we talked about I'm not typing in any zeros until Friday, but that does not mean you can get it all done on Friday. That is not possible. Okay, so there's that. Those are two things that we're practicing factoring. There is a puzzle that I'm going to hand you, and it is a hard puzzle. It's a harder puzzle. So I want to hand it to you now, and let's look at it really fast and talk about why it is a hard puzzle. Now we're here, those two words together. I'm hoping that you'll be motivated and work on all this really hard, and we'll get to play a Kahoot on Friday or maybe even Thursday and play some games online while we factor in. That would be fun. I tried this. I keep candy. Actually, it's not candy at the moment. It's Little Debbie's and Honey Buns. I keep stuff.
Oh,
I know.
Oh, right.
I see.
Perfect. Okay. This would also be due on Friday, and then there's one more thing after that, but let's discuss this one first. The reason this is hard, and the reason I'm going to say hard with my air quotes, is because it requires a little thinking first, because it's got all kinds of problems mixed up together. For instance, let's look at number 4. Number 4 just looks difficult, doesn't it? Is there something I can take out of both? I can take out a 4, but what else can I take out? An X. So number 4 actually is using GCF. Now, if I look at number 5, there's not something I can factor out of all those. So I'm actually going to have to use my Ninja Star. But then we get to looking. There may be some others, like number 11, that require a combo. Okay, so for instance, I can take a 2 out of everybody. So I'm going to use GCF and take a 2 out of everyone. And I would be left with 4x squared plus 7x plus 20. But I still need to see if I can factor that. I might not be able to, but I'm still going to check with my Ninja Star. So you might have to do 2 things. But the reason I'm giving you this, and the reason we're doing this one, is just a good practice to remind you. The first thing you're supposed to look at, which is why we started with GCF, is there something I can pull out of everyone? Is there something? Because if there is, we should pull it out. And then I don't know if there's any leading coefficients of 1. I don't see any on 1 through 16, but, I mean, is there potential where you could theoretically factor an 8 out of everyone? Yeah, I don't see it, but it might be on there. I'm not staring that hard. Okay, but again, what's nice about these is that there are answer choices down at the bottom. So, for instance, I already see an answer choice. I see number 11 is apparently this one. Number 11 is M. Now, what you're supposed to do is come over here and mark out whatever letter we did. So, mark out the M. I don't know what it ends up spelling. You know me. I don't really care about that part. I just like the fact that it's more practice, it involves GCF, and the answers are at the bottom. So again, this wouldn't be due until Friday either. As long as Josh has all his junk in by Friday, I'm not going to be mad at Josh. Would Josh like to have an end sooner than that so we can try to have some fun on Friday? Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, it might just be me and the 5 who have everything done gets to play a Kahoot. But as long as Josh has all of this done by Friday, I'm not going to be mad. Now, if you look, you already knew about that. There was Friday's worksheet. That's the one with all the bubbles. The scavenger hunt is what you were working on yesterday before the fire alarm happened. The puzzle is what's in your hand now. And then apparently there's one more thing listed, and it says it's a 60% grade. So let's get that now. We are not going to take a test on factoring at this time. When we come back from spring break, we'll be back on factoring. I swear we're going to spend so much time on this, you're going to be sick of it. And eventually we will have a for real normal math test. But for now, what we'll do, since it is almost spring break, and because I do want to have a little fun myself, is we're going to do I'll show you, a wanted poster. If you don't know what a wanted poster looks like, you're going to have to Google that one. You know when they put the guy's face and he's wanted? Okay. Yeah, so a wanted poster. Now, I'm going to let you pick a partner. And if you have permission from me, it is okay if you work by yourself. You just have to ask me first. You have to follow the directions, so let's read through them. Everyone has the same directions in that you and your partner create 3 trinomials that match the base trinomial you're given. Meaning, if this is what you're given, you need to have a positive b, you need to have a positive c, and apparently you need to have a leading coefficient of 1. So if Kiana tries to do x squared minus 3x, she's already wrong. If she does 4x squared minus, she's already wrong then too. Hers need to look like x squared plus 3x plus 7. X squared plus 7x plus 10. That's the kind of thing we're looking for from her if this is what she's given. Obviously, different people will have different things. Okay, it says step 2, you have to factor each trinomial on a piece of paper first before putting it on your poster. I'm going to need the work. Your poster will need to be in the wanted poster fashion. At least the following should be on the poster. What the trinomial is wanted for. Why do you want it? Was it too cool for school? I don't care. Something creative. Something mathy would be preferred, but creative nonetheless. The correct properties of your trinomial, meaning C was positive, so I didn't have to look at, so both the factors were going to have the same sign as B, so both the factors were positive since B is positive. You could refer to your notes to write on about B and C being whatever they were on how you figured out the factors. You know what I mean by that. About remember if the middle is negative. If B is negative and that's still positive, then it goes with, and we had different rules about, was it the big factor that got the negative or the tiny factor that got the negative? We had rules on our notes. That's what I would want you to be referencing on part B. Your 3 trinomials and their factored form. Your work showing how you factored in. The more creative you are, the better your score in that area will be. Because you know me, I'll throw bonus like bonus. I throw it. I just throw bonus. You cannot use examples from your notes. The trinomials must be original. You're very smart. You can Google trinomials. You can ask me and look at a textbook for some trinomials. Do not use a trinomial that I've seen recently. I do recall which ones I've worked. Do not use one I have had. Okay, so you're going to have class time to work on that. Ty also wanted class time to hang up the banners, which I will gladly give her all today. As long as she intends to get all her junk done by the end of the day on Friday, she can work on that. As long as she's not being too goofy, she can work on that. I do not care. I'm going to go ahead and let you, hold on, let me go over the bell ringer answer, and then why don't you go ahead and start thinking about who you want your partner to be. Do you want to work by yourself? You can if you want to, but you know life's a lot easier when you got someone with you. Okay, let's talk about this really fast, how you broke my heart. Unlike geometry, you are not expected to know the distance formula yet. Is it a good one to put to memory? Yes. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. You've already seen things like that. We saw that when we did point slope form. So I'm literally going to just plug in and chug out my answer. So x2 was 12, x1 was 6, so 12 minus 6 squared. Y2 was 8, y1 was negative 2, so minus negative 2. I end up having 6 squared. And then what's 8 minus a negative 2? It is 10. So 10 squared. So I have 36 plus 100, that ends up being square root of 136. This is where Hannah stopped and I got on to her. Why did I get on to Hannah? I get that my geometry kids haven't had algebra in a year, but you and I just tested on this like March. Very beginning of this month, we took a test on this before we went on to factoring. So we're supposed to think through, are there any perfect squares that multiply to give you 136?
You're going to do the long way of it, or the short way?
I'm going to do the short way. I'm going to do the short way. What times what is 136? What's a perfect square? 36 is a perfect square, but 36 does not divide into 136. What's a smaller perfect square? 34 is not a perfect square. What's a smaller perfect square? 16 is a perfect square. 16 does not divide evenly into 136. I'm going to need an even smaller perfect square. Is 8 a perfect square?
No.
No. Do you think 9 goes into 136?
No.
Yes.
It might.
Yeah.
Yes. It's 4 times 9.
4 times 9 is 36, but not 136.
I was just kidding.
Yeah, you're smart.
Huh?
Like if you divide 9 by just 9, 136 is going to be.
Oh, there's a remainder. Oh, okay. I need a smaller perfect square. What's a smaller perfect square? 3 is not a perfect square. 4. 4 times what is 136? 34? Was that right? That looks right. 34 is 17 and 2. I can't break him down any further, but I know the square root of 4. It's 2. So it's 2 square roots of 34. I get why my geometry kids couldn't do that. You're just trying to break my heart, I think. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to go ahead and pass out this to each person so they know what their project is. Your project is due by the end of class on Friday, as is